Do you think we are all overreacting a little bit, or is this finding actually this groundbreaking?
So I think Albert Bourla, who you just quoted, the CEO of Pfizer, put it very nicely. I think it's light at the end of the tunnel. I think without this data, then obviously we're looking there not knowing what our exit plan is. The fact that this data showed not just the 60 to 80% reduction in symptomatic infections that we were expecting, but 90%, which is really as good as it gets compared to any of the approved vaccines, is really very encouraging. What we don't know is we don't know about durability of protection, how long it protects for. We don't know about the long-term safety. And also, there's a logistical problem in vaccinating hundreds of millions of patients in a timely way, particularly with this vaccine, which requires some very specialized storage at particular temperatures.
Still a lot of questions that are unanswered. But just looking at the numbers here, some back of envelope calculations that I was reading about yesterday, if you assume an R rate of about 2.5 and this efficacy of 90%, the government would only need to vaccinate about 60% of the population to achieve herd immunity. Is it achievable? Do you envisage us getting to a point of herd immunity at some point next year?
Yeah, that's a very good question, a difficult question to answer. At the moment, we know that on the base of the analysis that's been done on 94 patients, there's a 90% reduction. But of course, we don't know what the infection rate is reduced to in subgroups, such as the elderly, the vulnerable, and so on, and that may have some bearing on it. We also need to know how quickly we can get patients to be vaccinated, and we know that certain cohorts of the US, for very understandable reasons, are very nervous about vaccination. But there is a hope that didn't exist previously, that potentially we could get to vaccine-induced herd immunity. And potentially, if you could vaccinate on a global basis, you could think about eradication. That's not going to be with this vaccine, which requires the cold storage. But there's a little glimmer of hope that opens up there. I think my default assumption is we end up with an endemic type disease, which has very low levels and probably has some seasonality. But there is the hope of eradication if we get a vaccine which can be taken to less developed economies and provides a similar level of reduction.